Today I'm going to show you how to make some awesome Christmas baubles that people just will not believe were handmade. And I'm going to do it with two different sizes, with the large one and with this smaller one that just puts together like this. Now, I don't want this to come apart, so what I'm going to do is glue this one together using a little bit of super glue. But what it does matter is that if you're using these sorts of things, that you line up that bit. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to just give this a bit of a sanding and give it a little bit of a rough edge. Now, I'm using a very high grit here, which is a 600 grit sandpaper, just to mark it up. As you can see, that has just roughed that off a little bit. And I've sanded all that all the way over, and I'm also going to do the same for this smaller one as well. And then once you've done that, give them a bit of a wipe over with a damp cloth to get rid of any of that dust that's on there, and then we're nearly ready to start decorating them. Put this somewhere safe. That's the insert that goes in there that you hang it from. The reason I say put it somewhere safe is because I know that I never do, and I end up can't finding them. And now you need to make something to hold in there, so you've got something to hold on to while it's being worked on. Now, I've got a bit of doweling here. You could use the end of a paintbrush. You could use many things. Now, I've used this method before when I make rings in my resin studio, and all I do, I wrap around masking tape until it's the size that it's going to go in there and hold it steady. So now I've got that in there, it's wedged in there fairly firmly. What I'm going to do is give these a quick coat of plastic primer. This works really well on glass as well if you want to get hold of some. You can get some that you can paint on, but I like the spray. It actually sprays a lot smoother and neater. While those baubles are drying, what I'm going to do is quickly cast, using my paper clay, some little snowflakes. Now, this is a recipe I've used for a long time. I made this about 4 months ago now, I think, and it's still as good as when I first made it. If you want to get the recipe, it's free to download on my website. Before I go ahead and put this in the molds, what I am going to use is a little bit of white glue in each one of these molds as well, like that. And that just helps this paper clay to absolutely adhere to this mold, and then once it's dry, it will just all come out really easily. Wetting a spatula like this to be able to get rid of any excess that I don't want. That is on the top. Going over with my finger and ensuring that is in there. I'll put these all somewhere warm where they can dry really quickly. These are both dry now, and they didn't take long to dry. What I'm going to do is cover them in some kitchen paper, and this kitchen paper's got a texture on, and I like the fact that it's got a bit of a texture. It will show through a little bit on there as well, which gives the final finish a really nice look. And these are so easy to make. You could make these with your kids and again keep them forever. I'm ripping up this so it's all got frayed edges. I'm not using any of the straight edges to it. I'm just ripping it up into small pieces. Massive thank you to everyone that got me a coffee last month. It really has been helpful. Thank you so much. I'm having to save at the moment to get some restocking done, so thank you. You allow me to make these videos. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, the link for that is in the description below. So now I've got that ripped up, what I'm going to do is take my bauble like that is attached to this stick, and then paint around that edge some white glue. Get a bit of this and put it on, and then paint over that so it's laying nice and smooth. This won't take too long to dry either. This will be dry within about an hour, so we can go to the next stage. I'll do that on both the baubles. These are all lovely and dry now, and I've demolded these, and I made an extra set as well because I want to make sure that I've got plenty on there. I've also made some tiny little balls out of my own paper mache that I'll be gluing on there, but I just want them to dry a little bit more first. And we've got this, and they're both lovely and dry. So now what I want to do is glue these onto here. Now, they're still a little bit flexible because they're so thin, which is great, which is what I wanted. Obviously, that's why I use that mold. And how I'm going to glue these on is by using a little bit of white glue on here, all the way over every bit of it, and then holding them onto it until they've stuck down. It won't take many seconds for them to stick because this is going to be porous, and also so is this. And then once they're stuck on there, I can remove any excess glue so it doesn't fill the holes. and then move on to the next one. And I'm going to randomly stick these on this sphere going all the way around. If I haven't got enough and I need to make some more, then that's no problem. With this one, what I've cut out is some leaves and some holly using my Cricut, and I used a little bit of card to cut these out with, and this is just one of the envelopes that things come from Amazon with. And again, I will go round gluing these on, and I may just put holly on this rather than put the leaves on, but I cut them out because I wanted to be able to make a decision on that once I've put them on. So I'll just go round gluing them on like that until they're held down, and again I'll be doing that random all the way around. I absolutely love making these, and I also love decorating them. Painting them and getting the final finish on them is always so much fun. With some really simple techniques, you can get excellent results. So that's how the holly will look on there, and I'll go round and I'll put some more on and finish off the other one, and then I'll show you how I'm going to paint them. So I've finished off putting all the bits on there, the snowflakes, and I've also put some holly all the way round. And this one, all I've done is put some holly in. I've drawn around where I want to put these little balls, and all I'm going to do for those is put a dot on where I'm going to put them of glue, and then put one of the little balls on like that. And then these are all handmade balls, so they are irregular sizes, although I have tried to keep them to a similar size, but I'm not too worried with them being different sizes. And they'll stick on there. Once that's dry, they will be on there permanently. They're not going to go anywhere at all. I will also bring some balls down here, and if I can find some that are slightly smaller as they go down, then that's what I will do. And then on this one, I'm going to put some circles of some balls in between each of the spaces on here. These are completely dry now, and all the bits are stuck on them. And what I'm going to do is give them 2 coats of this metallic gold paint, and then I'm going to do a couple of paint effects on them. And what I'm going to do is make sure I get everywhere with this, in all the nooks and crannies. I don't want any white showing at all, and it will take 2 coats to give it a nice solid feel. You can see the texture that has been left by that paper that we put down to start with, and that is a really nice texture. I think it gives it a great finish. So I'll coat both of these, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what I'm going to do next to really make them stand out. These are dry enough now to be able to do some painting technique on them to bring them out a little bit. What I've done is I've mixed up some black with a little bit of this gold, and I've made it really watery, and I'm going to paint that all over this. And at first you think, oh my goodness, that is ruining that. And then I take a cloth and then remove most of that from it. And it will leave little bits of shadow around the areas where you want it to leave some shadow. You need to do this before it dries as well, because if it dries, then obviously you're going to have to repaint it. But it does take a while to get dry. There we go, look at that. That really does start to bring out. And then we've got one more technique to do on this after this. While they're drying, I'm going to quickly make up some embossing wax. And all I use is this stone and concrete wax. It's brilliant. I love it for this. Put a little bit onto a silicone mat like this. This will last ages until it runs out, really. Get that so it's warmed up by just moving it around like this. And then I add the colour mica powder that I want wax to be. And you can make lots and lots of different colours. So whatever colour mica powder you've got, you can make like this embossing, polishing wax with that mica powder. Yep, that's mixed in well enough. And all I've got is an empty little pot here. And I scrape that all up, put that in there. I'll let that sit for about 10 minutes, and then it's ready to use. Pop the lid on, it won't dry out, and then you've got that to use whenever you want it. So with a cloth, I just take a bit of this wax. You don't need much of it, and I just go over, polish up some of the tops, put the wax on in various different places. Look how nicely iridescent that has brought that up. Let that soak in for about 4 or 5 minutes before I then give it a light buff. So now that's been sitting for about 5 minutes, all I do is take another bit of clean cloth and then gently buff it. And that'll remove any excess wax, and it'll also buff up some of these areas as well that are raised. It'll give it that nice sheen. See? What a great sheen that has given. Go over it lightly. You shouldn't be able to feel any of the wax on there once you've buffed it off. Okay, once that's done, all you have to do is give this a little bit of a twist and that will come out, and then you can put your cap back in. Now, I've repainted this cap so it's a goldish colour, so it doesn't look so out of place by being silver, and that's your finished ornament. Honestly, people will never ever believe that you made it by hand. You can do them in lots of different colours. It doesn't have to just be gold. You can do them in any colour that you wish. Just pop a bit of thread in them and then you're all done. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please boot that like button, hit that subscribe button, and make sure to check out the video that I've got coming up next. It's another great way of making something out of nothing. Take care. Enjoy your crafting. Bye.